Hello guys, and here I'm about to teach you about the Phylum Ciliata, or another word for multiple of them, ciliates. And I have a lovely little picture for y'all. I think it's a pretty nice close-up detailed picture. And for this slide, we're about to talk about the shape. I got a nice little diagram for y'all. And basically, the best way to categorize them, to notice if you know if it's a ciliata or not, and it's about, if you see all those little tiny hairs on the outside, they're called the cilia. And we're about to talk about more about them on the next slide. But most of them have one or more vacuoles, and its function is to help the ciliata to collect water to maintain its osmotic pressure to keep its shape. And they're pretty much identical to flagella. But flagella is only one. They only have one. It's really long. When cilia, it's numerous. It's multiple. They're all over, and they come in way larger numbers. And for the movement, cilia is the Latin word for eyelash. And you can see in this picture, they do kind of look like eyelashes. They're all around the protist, and basically strokes the water. They all move, and it basically, the stroking of the cilia is what makes them move. And the cilia is able to make them move a lot better than protists with flagellas. Because if you think about it, it's they're all around, and they move. They can individually move in a different direction, where the other one only has one long one. So if you think about it, it kind of makes sense that it's able to move around a lot better. And for the nutrition, oh yeah, I didn't mention in the other slide, the ciliatas, also their organelles of the cilia is also able to help them in feeding. The cilia helps, gathers and it draws their food in. But that's not the only way. There's multiple tons of ways, because there's way over 1,000 species of them. There's tons and tons of them. There's so many of them. So of course they'll have different methods in feeding. There's got filtration. Think of whales. That's how they feed, filter feeding. Some hunt for other protists. Others eat algae. And there are a few that are types of parasites. And here I have a little cool little video. Notice the little cilia moving on its own when it's attempt to feed. Just zoom in for a minute there. Okay, there you go. You can kind of see it's kind of dark, but you can kind of see them move around when it's attempting to feed. It's a quick little video. There you go. Now for the next slide. Slide number 5. Okay, for the reproduction, oh yeah, in the previous diagram, it showed that it had 2 nucleuses. And the smaller one is called the micronucleus. Micro, because you mean small. It controls the developmental and metabolic functions. And it means it's basically an essential for reproduction. It helps with fission. I have a little picture here of the ciliata splitting. The micronucleus that's the big nucleus. At the very end, it basically helps them with pinching them so they can split apart. And they also produce sexually. Basically, this is how the process happens. So it has to be with direct contact. The other one has the genetic material, and the other protist receives that material. And that's how they sexually reproduce, by bumping into each other, physically touching. Response to stimuli, basically, ciliates are able to react in multiple ways. Since their organelles, the cilia, helps them move around. They have multiple different various ways they can like move. Like this type of Ciliata, which is called the ceruleus. Basically, when it's like it kind of, I have a video here. It kind of looks like a trumpet. They look kind of weird, but when there's an increase of light, like to give an example, the response to stimuli, like it causes the ceruleus to stop moving and they reverse themselves into a place with less light. And I have another feeding video, like it kind of flows, like their prey kind of like flows in. You can kind of see it like flowing in as when it's attempting to like feed. And for the last slide, we got the habitat. Okay, if you want to find these guys, they're pretty much everywhere. You can find them pretty much everywhere. You can find them in marine, brackish, and if you don't know what brackish is, I have a picture. This is a picture of a brackish habitat. Basically what brackish is, it's like salt water, but it contains less salts than the ocean. Like it's kind of a mix in between like fresh and salt. They can even be found in damp soil. And in the next slide, here's my work cited.